Hello everyone, my name is Joshua. This is the 70th video of my video journal series. Today's date is Sunday, the 19th of April, 2026. How's everyone been? I've been good myself, thank you. I can't believe I already made it to 70 already. But I guess something I want to share with you today is current world events. I know how thrilling. Here in the year 2026, we've, I guess, been going through a lot, including an oil crisis here in Australia and around the world. And, they've recently been talking about how they're going to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Now, excuse me if I mispronounce any names or places within this video, but it's this massive, I guess, strait that goes through the Middle East and um, through various wealthy oil nations like Qatar and um, you know Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain. Um, so yeah, because of the current situation in the Middle East, they closed off the strait, blockaded it, and now they're going to allow ships through. But obviously, that's going to have a knock-off effect because um, our supply chain of oil has been disrupted, and this is most probably the last for months. So I'm not surprised to see fuel prices jump, grocery prices jump, um, plane tickets jump. Everything that just involves fuel within the transportation process. Um, so in some ways it's impacted me, the ongoing oil crisis. And you got a bunch of stuff happening around the world, war, famine, disease, and it can really seem all doom and gloom. And I like to keep updated and informed about what's happening around the world. I like to read the news, but sometimes I have to look away because it makes me a little bit too sad, angry, and in some aspects I'd just like to look at the positive side of things and look at you know activism and social campaigns that have succeeded, especially those um, campaigns against the construction of massive data centers, which, you know, I'm not like a full on greenie, but I do believe in protecting and caring for the environment. But, you got these corporations just building massive data centers, and they're not really going to benefit the users, but rather just benefit, um, you know, company profits. And especially now here in 2026, we're just seeing a massive surge in AI and AI generated technologies, which I believe will go of the way of the dot com bubble. Basically, I think AI in some aspects will be, integrated within search functions and in some role within the next couple of decades of our life and maybe even beyond. But I think the over reliance on AI and trying to replace human creative output with AI is not going to work. Um, you know, I guess prove me wrong if this video might be outdated within 20 years, but yeah, I feel like, you know, nothing can really replace human creativity. There will be a demand for human creative output, even if right now a lot of people are getting laid off by AI, and the creative industry is, I guess, threatened by it. If AI slop has taught us anything, is that um, nothing can really create the experiences that a human has lived that a robot can never replicate. Something like a work of art, for instance, that draws upon human emotion and experience can never be replicated by a robot. You know, you don't buy, I guess, how do I put this? A print of the Mona Lisa is not going to be as valuable as the original painting. You can buy an nearly identical print of the Mona Lisa, but it's not going to be worth anything near the original painting. You know why? Because the original painting had human emotion put into it. It had not only a very, very smart man put his life and soul into that painting, but it was driven by passion. It was driven by his artistic abilities. That print was most probably just made by someone looking to make buck, or most probably made with some machine or um, you know art replication process. It doesn't really have that history or emotional sentiment attached towards it. That's kind of like AI. You can have a movie entirely made by AI, but it's going to lack that human creative output. It's going to lack that human emotion, um, drawing upon personal experience. So that's what I think about it. Um, so yeah, with this current AI craze, I think it will most likely be here to stay, but it will never, I guess, ever um, replace human creative output. Um, so yeah, that's what I personally think. And here in 2026, obviously, we've been going through a lot, but to everyone, I just say hang in there. Um, you know, my generation, Gen Z, has already proved itself that we can be a tool for inciting positive change throughout the world and to voice our concerns about the environment and social political affairs. And I hope to be part of that representation someday, really speak on behalf of my generation and people currently living on this earth right now. Um, you know, and I often think a lot back to the 2010s and just go, man, what like simpler times they were. And I think I made a few videos about the 2010s, like 2013, 2014, and you know, I often look back and think to myself, well, did I really enjoy the 2010s? There was certainly a lot happening in the 2010s, but I think you know most of us have forgotten it now because of the current, I guess, situation of the world. We look back on the 2010s as nostalgic. Well, the 2010s still had a lot of stuff going on. 2016, 2019. I mean, COVID-19 originally, um, I guess, emerged in 2019. That's why it's got 19 at the end, but didn't become, I guess, global until 2020. But yeah, I guess that nostalgia has a thing to play in that, and it makes me think. Well, will people be nostalgic for the year 2026 in the future? That's going to be sound outdated in 20 years time. But for all those, I guess, viewers watching this video in the year 2046, do you feel nostalgic for the year 2026? I guess now I don't really feel, I guess, nostalgic or attached to it, but who knows? Maybe my opinion will change in 20 years' time. I guess to people watching this in the year 2046, what's life like? Is what's the new, I guess, um, Nintendo video game console that's out? Currently right now we have the Nintendo Switch 2. Um, is there a PlayStation 9 or an Xbox? Um, you know, what are they gonna name the new Xbox? Like the Xbox 1000 or Xbox One 2, a sequel to the Xbox One. You go for the Xbox One 2. I mean, now they got the Series X and all that, so that's going to sound really dumb, but, you never know with consoles, if they want to switch back to the naming system or the numbering system. Sony pretty much keeps it all numbers. Nintendo, I guess, does both, and same thing with Microsoft. Um, but yeah, I guess a lot's been happening this year already. Uh, in terms of, I guess, what's been happening around the world and Australia, excuse me, and I guess my own life as well. But I really am, I guess, fascinated by, I guess, the present because we don't think much about the present. We think a lot about the past and future, but we don't really think about what's happening right now, here in the present, as of me recording this. When I hit that record button on my phone, well, that was a past event. It may have not happened a long time ago. I mean, it depends how long I've been recording this, so maybe around like 10 minutes or so. But that was a past event. And even when I began this conversation, that was technically a past event, So the present is like a wave. It's continuous. But, I feel like a lot of people just relegate it. But I feel like it is the present time where we should be focusing upon the most. Obviously, to look at the past, to look at the future, but focusing on the present. Um, because I feel like, you know, the present is where we can achieve most of the stuff that we want to achieve when it comes to climate action, campaigning for a better cause, campaigning for greater social political rights, um, all that sort of thing. Um, and I'll be trying to, I guess, live in the moment, live in the present, not to think too much about the past, but, you know, generally to head towards the future, but not think too much about the future. Just thinking about what can I do now, sort of thing. And I guess um, a lot of people like me right now are feeling a lot of nostalgia for the 2000s, and that was the era I was born in. I don't remember much from it, but I do remember some bits from my early childhood, and yeah, I guess I do have some emotional and sentimental attachment to the early 2000s, but apart from that, I think nostalgia has like a very key factor to it. And it makes me think, well, will nostalgia really have a key factor when it comes to, I guess, society's perception of the year 2026 in 20 years' time? And I guess, in some ways, yes. I guess there will. Excuse me. Oh man, I'm yawning a lot. I guess there will be some people in the year 2046 who will view 2026 as nostalgic, but um, I could be completely wrong about that. Who knows? If you're watching the year 2046, then leave a comment down below saying how I was wrong. But I guess to I've been rambling on and on really. I guess to conclude, yeah, year 2026 hopefully gets better. But I'm hanging in there. I'm still gonna fight for what I believe in. I'm still gonna make this video journal series, and I'm very interested. Oh, excuse me. I'm not bored or anything. I'm just like insanely tired right now. But I guess to make things a little bit interesting, I like to have a chat with people in year 2046. Um, and the way I'm going to do it is by just, I guess, like talking to the camera, like I've been doing for this series. But I want to ask, like, people in the year 2046, well, obviously, what life was like, what's life in the year 2046. But, um, yeah, do you have any emotional sentiment or attachment to the year 2026? Yet again, leave a comment down below if this video series is on YouTube or maybe some other site. Hopefully, I have a comment system. Otherwise, really just, I guess, reflect to yourself. Um, what's your, I guess, opinions of the year 2026? Are you in, you know, do you take, I guess, modern history or a subject like that at your school and you're forced to study about the year 2026 and you look at all the events and you're like, oh man, how am I going to remember all of it? Well, trust me, I'll give you a cheat code. Just watch my video journal series and I'll tell you all about the year 2026. That's how you get the kids watching. But yeah, I guess what's your opinions about the year 2026 from your era, the year 2046? And I guess I can like do some self reflection. Well, 2026, I'll say, there's been a lot happening this year. And if you're a, I guess, student who has to, I guess, take a history exam in the year 2046 or beyond, and you're going to write about the year 2026, I'll say, know your sources well. There is, here in the year 2026, there's a lot of misinformation and that really plays a lot into our politics and it really plays a lot into our society in general. When you're browsing through, I guess, ancient um, YouTube comments, I can't believe I'm going to say ancient, but they're going to be like 40 years old, some of them, in the year 2046. When you're browsing through those old comments and news reports, excuse me, and videos here on YouTube and other social media sites, know your sources well. Always check the uploader, always check the originator of the source, and just know, I guess, where you get your facts from, and be well informed. That's what I can say if you're, I guess, someone who's got to study the year 2026. And I guess construct a historical timeline, um, and I guess know that, um, you know, history can be explored in various perspectives. Like I'm just explaining history from my point of perspective, but they can, uh, you know, I guess if you ask another person what they think about the year 2026 or events currently happening like that, might have a different opinion. So it's always best to get a lot of perspectives. But yeah, I just can't wait for the day where I guess people will be right about the year 2026, and I'll be telling my children and my grandchildren all the stories of my past. And I guess that's what I'm kind of doing now as speaking to the camera. But yeah, good luck, history exam students. If you are watching this, just let you know that Joshua has said hi from the year 2026. But anyway, I'll catch you all later and see you all next time. Bye. See you. Take care.